in our first map, Battlefield of Eternity, but otherwise I feel like he's really carefully positioned while also scouting and threatening merc camps, rotations. His coverage is some of the best on Murden in terms of the solo laner as well. Every time Dehaka is winning the solo lane, he rotates up there just because he assumes someone is going to gank. He assumes there's going to be a rotation. And if one doesn't come, he rotates back. But if it does, he punishes it. He turns kills around. And we'll see if he does that again here. They're probably going to prioritize the Murden once more. They're going to be second pick this time.
I feel like if they always try to go for double tank. And I think having double tank really depressures Honkona from being the only one hand that has to make the play. I think he's a lot more stress-free environment, makes him into a better player, and he can really have fun and also be good at the same time.
Yes, that's all what video games are about, man. Have fun, but be good. Don't be bad, please.
And of course, winning feels better than losing.
For most, anyways.
And going into standard draft, that's our ban already. Likely to see. We haven't seen Zarya ban actually today.
Well, it's because people started to realize that Zarya can only be used with Vala, so you end up with only the Vala ban to make sure that that doesn't matter too much. We've seen Zarya used with other pairings to mixed results, and you know, in the past we've seen her used with melee assassins for the extra shielding and super hyper aggressive compositions, but it hasn't really been the case in HGC Korea, especially not since last week. So I think this will either be the Vala ban or the Falstad ban. Will be the latter. So global is really important on this map. I would like Raven. Okay, they're going to deny the Malf again, but I would like them to take Dehaka.
This will very likely to be Dehaka Murden again, coming out from Miracle, as we've highlighted too many times on that. Bring some thought into this, but very likely to have at least Dehaka.
I think they will take both. I think you're absolutely right. I think they're thinking about the next step. That's what they're actually using this time pool right now, is to think about what Raven is going to do next.
Raven, they've been really giving good feedbacks following Miracle. Game number 1, Greymane was the big problem. They banned out Greymane, and then second one, the Zebo came in. I like the switches that Miracle is trying to see. They think they're going for the Valakam, and they actually have so many other cards available for them now.
I mean, it's also something that we could think about here is HG2's Artanis. Are they wondering, is there something that they can do to prevent it? We haven't seen it yet today. But it's something that you expect to see in a best of 5, especially now when you're on your last legs. They remove the Zeratul, and they stick with the Nazebo. Obviously, the 4-man rotation, most notably the bot lane, is going to be super important on this map in terms of lane pressure because it allows you to rotate, helps you win the shrines. Once you have one shrine secured, especially if you have globals, the second one becomes a ton easier. Nazebo is really going to help with that. And I wonder if we'll just see Sniper on Sergeant Hammer once more as this draft continues, because he's been on it. He's been doing really well. I want to actually look at his HGC stats on the hero. Actually 4 and 0 currently.
I think Miracle realized that Raven is not really favoring the Haka anytime soon, so I think they went around and picked their damage instead. And Zeratul on Hamlin has been making pretty good Void Prison to catch a few of the targets, and I like this pick, taking away Murden from Moncano. Most likely going to be De Jong on that Murden. If not, they've been swapping so many times, they're not completely sure, but also Gul'dan for that wave clear. This looks already so much better.
Yeah. Well, Hamlin's not going to be on the Zeratul, which also makes me feel better for Raven right now. I mean, if I had to be honest,
yeah, you're an honest man. I trust you, man.
Yeah, I don't lie. So I feel better about it. For the ban here, it's tough to actually choose. I think this is part of the reason why Raven is drafted this way, because they have one of each main role, so you can't choke anything. And none of these heroes lead towards a specific composition. You know, if there was no Malfurion, and you're like, oh, okay, I ban the Ariel because I see where like you run Gul'dan with Ariel on this map, and you know, the good wave clear and all the hope. But since they already have Malfurion, you're not really thinking about it. So there's not really a good ban
here. If not
here.
just Artanis, I think is an okay ban.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Gonna take Hammer out, so we're not gonna be seeing that on Miracle side either. So sadly, Sniper, who by the way is 3-1, not 4-0. I misspoke when I looked at his stats earlier. It's 3-1 on the hero.
Or maybe Miracle's thinking of taking away Artanis instead. We'll have to see. Raven seems to be picking up Artanis at the very end.
That would be crazy if they actually go for that. I doubt it.
I think they are very salty from what I saw from game number 1 and 2. I feel that saltiness in them. They want to really
salt.
they really want to bring that salt down to the ground and really grind on Raven.
Well, if they do that, it would probably be Honkono on the Artanis, you know, with Dami playing the Zeratul.
And Raven realizes already that they should have realized already, and really being able to pick and play the Haka is a big disadvantage for them. But instead, they're going to ban Tychus. A little bit surprising, of course, them having Muradin gives the pressure if the Tychus is on the other side. I
think the reason why they did this is because they were like, oh, well, we're looking at a sniper hero ban here, very likely, with Crazy Moving playing the Nazebo. And they may have forgotten that in the triple melee situation with the tank, the double tank and Zeratul together, Sniper actually has been playing the Dahaka, has played a really good Dahaka, so I would have rather seen the Dahaka ban, knowing that Sniper has the flexibility to normally, even though he's ranged flex, play the Dahaka in a very similar role to his Falstad. Remove that global presence, and the pieces just kind of fit together right now for Miracle at every way.
Also chunks the dragon pretty quickly also, so that's a solid ban coming out. And Miracle, maybe, I think they have a lot of options. They just have to choose one coming out. Even Vala could still fit in here.
Probably see them pick up a healer with this. Probably the Karazim and the Haka. Oh, gonna leave the healer for last. So
okay, double tank again.
Yeah, Arthas was the most reasonable pick, obviously considering the Muradin removal. And ETC has completely fallen out of favor right now, so just going to be looking for good CC, good wave clear. The solo lane is going to be important for Raven now. Just don't know what they're going to bring to the table that could actually defeat the Dahaka in the solo lane. And they have good wave clear with Gul'dan, but Hammer's removed, so they don't have that hard push bot wave clear. So what's going to be the solo laner for them? That's the big question mark for me right now. They might even bring a melee in, like a Thrall. That would be reasonable. It would at least relieve that top lane pressure.
Reasonable, but thinking of, if you take Raven into account, I think he will actually go for the Artanis pick again. It just has to be Artanis. H82, if you know this guy.
Let's hope for it, man. I hope so. Haven't seen it yet today. Tyrael.
Is a solo top lane, okay? That's
and
something.
Ragnaros both. Solo ranged Gul'dan.
Wow.
Not a big fan of this composition, if I have to be honest. And as mentioned earlier, I'm usually pretty honest, but the damage that Gul'dan puts off is consistent, but it's not burst. This has a lot of CC, can horrify, it can be protected, just continue to do slow, consistent damage. But there's not enough burst here. Molten Core is going to be helpful, but I can't see how this team composition wins team fights.
And Tyrael, their first Tyrael, I believe, ever in HGC?
Yes, that's correct.
This is actually the least team I would actually guess to have Tyrael on. This is very surprising for me at the moment. And Ragnaros, of course, has that burst, but had that small nerf at the end, so I don't think they can actually complete too many kills with that burst.
And when you don't have any burst, you just take consistent heals that don't cost mana, and then you pull out a Lucio. And I think the draft here for Miracle has good control of globals, good damage, good scaling into the late game for this map. And solo damage Gul'dan, I don't think it's going to be enough. But we'll see how they decide to hard engage with a Horrify perhaps. We see Stormbolts go down. Maybe they could isolate some targets, notably the Nazebo. But he's going to have Ice Block post 13, and that's going to lead him into a strong late game. We'll see if Raven can make this happen. If they do not, MVP Miracle will take the 3-0 win. Let's jump into Dragonshire. In blue, Joju on Malfurion, Hamlin on Tyrael, Edemex on Gul'dan, Diong on the Muradin as you predicted, and H82 on Ragnaros.
And in red, MVP, Miracle. Tankana and Arthas, Dami on 0-2. Sniper on the Haka, Crazy Moving on the Zebo, and Darvish on Lucio.
Here we go, G-Clef.
Dami on his usual comfortable 0-2.
Yes.
I like this change.
And Sniper just gonna head up to the top lane. It's gonna be a one matchup versus Ragnaros. But Hamlin can, I guess, protect the minions and make this 4-man pretty decent one for Raven with the Tyrael pick. So in the early game before Sanctification, you could see why the pick is strong, but HA2 is really gonna lose this one. It's actually Dami who rotates up this time, not Honkono.
A great root coming out, and Crazy Moving may actually fall at, and he does at the end.
Look, they do have the smite damage coming in, so, you know, you do have that extra damage when you have that CC hit. The Fel and the Corruption hit all 3 strikes, so in an ideal world with good CC, good placement, perhaps you do get the first, quote-unquote, that gets somebody to kill. The longer the game goes on, though, the tougher it's going to be for that to happen. Diong is really aggressively going in for these, and HA2 is going to take a lot of damage here. He should be fine. He got 3rd wind, so he's going to be able to rotate a lot more and heavily commit each time he does without having to worry about healing, because he's going to get his health back super fast. So kind of a ganky Muradin style. We saw a lot from Sign at the Gold Club World Championship, this particular style.
Crazy Moving, all he has to do is just get some stacks, and just stay safe at the bottom line, and just hope for the best for his teammates to actually make the big plays, especially Dami, just rotating up and down. With Lucio, that's even better.
NMX here under fire, does get hit with the root. Gonna try to turn this around onto Dami. Darvish just gonna heal this up though. You can see that the damage will just be wiped clean after every combo usage. The channel is very briefly in favor of Raven. Will be taken away from them here. Dami is playing with fire. That extra smite damage is pushing him back. And they're making this solo Gul'dan look powerful. Hitting the skill shots consistently. And taking really good trades. Lucio at level 16, again, will have the percentage-based heals. The longer this game goes on, more health will be on the Zebo. Here's this burst. When you have the CC, and you can get that combo off like that, where you have the 2 Fels coming in, and the Corruption, then you get a kill, for sure. This is happening consistently for Raven. Both kills, nearly a 3rd earlier on.
Dami spots Dio coming in, and that's the time he actually wants to come in for gank also, but H82 doing so much damage, and Ankana should be enough. There's that coil to finish up the kill, and does not get the jump.
Stops that Dwarf Toss. Still, everyone is very low, but they're going to get the kill onto Muradin. Nonetheless, 3rd one not able to proc. So in just a moment, this game turns on its head. And this is not about comps, this is really just about better rotations for Miracle, better understanding of the matchup in lane, and the usage of Burrow. This bot lane push with the Siege Giants is annoying to deal with, but Miracle after that skirmish in the top will come take this shrine and clear this up. Having actually pleasant presence in all 3 lanes right now, getting a slight EXP lead. Hamlin is playing with fire. Does back off. Honkono is going to go for the channel. NMX should be able to deny. Will they be able to retake, though? Look at the top lane. HA2 is pushed really far back.
The big change is when Sniper actually rotates down, and that's exactly the time NMX blows up Gul'dan. Without Gul'dan, no burst damage, no corruption, no Fels coming in.
HA2 does take this during this brief lull when the commitment comes to the mid to get the kill onto NMX. Hamlin does Altruins his way back, but that was really scary. I was wondering where he was going with that, but he had the safety Altruins.
So I was wondering in the beginning, they picked Ragnaros and Tyrael at the same time. I like those. I didn't really follow the picks. They picked both strong top laners, and I didn't really know which one would go. Tyrael seemed better for me, but they're keeping Ragnaros for the time.
Well, he's just playing really passively up there, which is fine. They want Tyrael for the extra smite damage to help secure kills. And it did get them 2, but now they're going to see this counter rotation here onto HA2. The second he stepped past the midpoint in lane, did go down. Dami's going to knock this entire mid wall off the map. They're going to take a 1 level lead now. 1 level closer to level 10.
Uh-oh, didn't we see this before in game number 1 and game number 2? And for Raven's side, not having the global would come into a big disadvantage, as Miracle, who's having that Dehaka on top consistently. When they join for the team fight at the bottom, it will be 4v5 for sure.
Those are the setups here for Crazy Moving as well, making sure every single one of the minions he kills is inflicted with poison before it's killed. So Honkono just making sure every time before he autos that it is inflicted, so that he actually gets that Voodoo Ritual built up. A bit annoying here with the shields coming down while he's doing it. So level 10's up here. Void Prison and Sound Barrier. Everything you expect. There's no big pairing for the...
actually, sorry to cut you off,
yeah.
going for that coil build. We saw some coil build coming out from EU sometimes. And I kind of wish we saw Void Prison with Syndragosa, possibly, but that's not the best combo here in 8, as I say. HG82 gets caught one more time.
They didn't even need to use heroics for this. They could use a Void if Dami wants to toss it down here. There's the burrow. Looks like they're just going to try to retreat. And they're going to walk away with all heroics available. Darvish with the heals. And Dami actually coming back on to the fight during all of this. But Crazy Moving is split pushing. He's just going to get more and more stacks. He's just taking this small lead and pushing it further. So yeah, I mean, I was going to say the same as you. They don't have anything that pairs with Void because they didn't go Syndragosa. But the Void Prison is still going to be strong because a lot of people look at Void Prison incorrectly to say it's only a combo ult. If you remove 3 members from the team fight, put them in a Void Prison, then you have a 5v2 fight. So it's a strong utility here, heroic, that can also save your core. It's just unlimited utility, so it's a big power spike for them to have 10.
Yeah, also Void Prison can actually cancel that Sanctification. Void Prison tops Sanct, so that's also a good counter against Tyrael.
Well, big rotation up here for Raven. They do get the CC onto Honkono. As you can see, the longer the game goes on, these moves, these CC lockdowns where they're trying to get the burst with Gul'dan, tougher and tougher each time, especially if he's not even there, which was the case as Gul'dan was in the bot lane here. They're going to take control of this bot shrine. But HG82 is going to get caught here. DeYoung's trying to relieve the pressure. We're not going to see Dami jump back in. Sulfuris completely dodged. They did actually use the sound barrier here, though. Darvish just barely escapes the root, gets the boop, and he should be fine.
Yeah, that movement speed is so powerful when it comes to the jukes. You can dodge the skill shots so easily.
Top lane pressure going to have to be dealt with here by NMX. We'll see if Miracle rotates down to try to take the bottom shrine at the same time. Dami is going to keep that top pressure on so he can rotate down so they can get the channel, the unleash of the Dragon Knight. It's actually Sniper, not Dami, on the Dehaka in this situation.
Yeah, they keep on changing. We see Honkono on Dehaka sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. But with the Zera tool, you would expect the Dami in this case to be on the Zera. And it is the case with that Sniper buying, again, a lot of time here, but they actually do not start the channel. He can actually squat this, and they can get the Dragon Knight off this, especially with HA2 going down here in bot. This is almost certainly a Dragon Knight. It is. No one to deny.
And they got a kill. And
with
with
that,
that,
to look pretty dangerous here for Raven.
And with this, Miracle is starting to really make that push happening on into the forts, and I believe the bottom fort is also pretty damaged from Crazy Moving's push all the way. And I think banning out Tychus from Raven's side, I think they should have been the one to actually take Tychus instead and have some percent-based damage, especially against the dragons if you're going to lose the macro fights. I think that was the better option in the draft.
Well, Sound Barrier gets popped here early on. We also have a Gargantuan coming up. The big silence attempt here. We get the 2 with the Molten Swing on this Molten Core, but that's all they're going to get.
Even Surfera's on the ground.
Yeah, that was kind of...
That looked epic. It looked epic.
It looked cool. Like if any of Miracle were in that spot at that moment, it would have been a nasty combo. As it turned out, they were very far away. Here's the kill onto Tyrael. And now Raven's in full retreat. They used Molten Core. They used Sulfuris. And so there's no objectives on the map right now, not even the nightcap they can steal here. So Miracle's just going to try to poke down this fort and maybe turn down to get the neutral cap or invade Siege Giants. Looking for the pick on the De Jong. We're not going to get it, so just grab this fort and back off. And they're in full retreat. Hong Kong are very low on mana.
Yeah, at least I don't think Miracle saw that smash coming down on the ground. So they do
That's
have
true,
to,
actually.
They still do have to be careful. I don't think they saw it. So
yeah, I think
only Raven and all the viewers watching now knows it.
There's HG2's never going to watch this VOD.
Yeah, and Ice Block almost too late after that bolt misses, but this is actually very entertaining, and this is going to be a problem for Raven. Does have that sync available. Hamlin goes in, drops that sync, and that's exactly the time Miracle pops that sound barrier, and they are on to the chase.
Notice they just back away and then drop the sound barrier, desyncing here. But right after it's over, we see the silence come down, and Arthas does get killed there. The silence really, really helping out. And it looks like Raven will just take the pick and nothing else. You see catching fire does complete here.
And HG2 goes around and spots 0-2. There's something wrong with my path. There's something there. That was almost way too actually funny to see the team fight. It was Sank is popped, guys, fall back, and then retreat, and then Miracle pops that sound barrier, guys. Raven's talking. Now, guys, we have to retreat now, and then that's when the Twilight comes in, and that's the. It's very fun, very fun, entertaining team fight just now.
Oh, definitely. And Raven finally gets some ground back in this game, but they're a level and a half behind. They do not have 16, which they desperately need. And Miracle has everyone respawn, ready to go. As we head to this objective, the last time Miracle had this huge lead, there was no objective on the map. This time there's a massive one, so Raven needs to be careful about sitting this far forward. All right, looking for that damage. There's the big CCs coming down, but here's the Void. And this is the isolation I'm talking about here. Honkono, though, does get blown up, or it's just not Honkono, sorry, Crazy moving. As Honkono was looking for the pick here onto Joju.
That's a good trade. 1-1, so Ferris missed, but the Haka is soaking so much damage in the front line sanctification to actually turn things around. Darvish also gets caught at the end.
It's a 2 for 2 so far. Looking for a big route to save Dami and help him secure the kill onto Hamlin. Can he get more? Does not seem to have a blink. He does, just barely at the end. Well, there's the fireball to kill him. Sniper's going to take this bot shrine, and they may look to channel. Risky. I'd rather just see him hearth home. And this ends up being a really good trade for Raven. They've evened up the talent tiers with a 3 for 3. They're down a level, so they have a faster respawn time. And they have this top lane push that Miracle never dealt with during that fight. So this is the best position that Raven's been in all game long.
That was a dirty fight. Not the most clean fight coming out for MVP Miracle, definitely. They could have focused much better, but they were very spread apart, and of course having that Sank in the middle of the team really zoned out the front line and the back line, which made it very hard to come back. But Raven, with that team fight, they can catch up. They have the same talent. With this, they can catch up somewhat, but Miracle, when Nazeebo's about to hit level 20, that's the big power spike coming in, and when Nazeebo can actually just do few auto attacks, and Gul'dan or Ragnarok will be gone by that time.
Well, I have to agree with everything saying. Just watching the map right now, looks like Raven is going to take this window of time to take the siege camp and the neutral night camp in the middle of the map here for the bot lane push, and they're just going to try to siege up this fort and try to catch up in EXP. And they're going to really just commit heavily. A 5-man rotation. Honkono's coming from behind, though, and here comes down Sniper, looking for the flank. Dami actually taking too much damage, though. Still going to look for the fight. Holy ground is available here for Hamlin, and Sniper is just going in. I don't know if this is being the right choice here for MVP. Sanctification used, but there's a Void Prison to lock 2 out. And look at that sound barrier. Hits everybody now, but the Horrify coming up a bit late here.
Smash does miss, but Twilight Dream actually connects, so Miracle is in silence. They have to retreat, but all the Raven, very low Tyrael actually falls down in the middle, and Dami seems to be the next one.
Okay, crazy fight here. Crazy Movie's going to go down, no pun intended. I feel like they should not have been that aggressive. Sniper should not have gone in alone like that, without his team backing up. There was a cool sound barrier, but there's just so much CC on the side of Raven from the Smash, the Twilight Dream. They have the Sanctification to help retreat, and they have Horrify. So every time it feels like Miracle's like, ah, got out of this one, now we drop the sound barrier, then the next CC comes down, then the next CC comes down, and I think it was overconfident exchange for Miracle is now not really massively ahead in this game. They have the structural lead, but that means Raven can catch up to 20 fairly soon. They're obviously significantly behind in terms of levels right now, but with 3 dead and this Dragon Knight, they're going to look for the catch-up. No way for Miracle to deny this. And when this fort goes down, they're almost certainly going to be just a few centimeters away from that level 20 to keep it even. And Miracle still doesn't even quite have it yet, as Honkono's booped out of here with that kick. There's a 20 for Miracle.
Liking the plays coming out from Hamlin. When he sees the Void Prison trapping his teammate, he keeps himself alive on that Sanctification. So basically the entire team is safe for the next few seconds and really cancels that timing of Miracle to actually engage in and put on that damage.
Well, now that there's 20 for Lucio, that's going to be the best cleanse they have against all this crazy amount of CC. The Roots, specifically, you know, just protecting the teammates. As long as Darvish is in good position, they can stop a lot of this from happening. He's horrified right now. Honkono super low. Nice up between a rock and a hard place. So we see the Void come down. It's actually already on cooldown. Sound barrier coming up here once more, but they don't actually have any way to capitalize on this. And DeYoung is doing a number right now up in the front lines. This Dragon Knight will expire in 15. They don't get a keep. Looks like he wants to do like 1 or 2 more swings. Well, that's not going to work. He's going to have to back off here. So 20 to 20. Raven has finally really evened the tide. Still 1 fort down, but the top fort isn't that significant on Dragonshire. It's pretty insignificant in general. Even if it were down, it wouldn't really be pushing for the win down that lane. You need the keep to really have extra pressure from that lane, that top lane.
And by this time, by this scaling level 20 against 20, one solid team fight can actually be the end of the game. So, and Ragnar's also going for the heroic level to have that Molten Core up. It should be up already. And just I'm pretty sure they're just waiting for the Horrify or the Sank to be safe for their side.
That's exactly what they're looking for. 10 seconds on that Horrify. It's upgraded now. Just pushing the bot lane is kind of annoying. As Vile Infection finishes, they do have 20. So Nazeebo's hitting a big power spike, but also getting very tanky. Holy ground here onto Darvish. They really want to commit to this fight. MV will get out. This did, oh, Molten Core, I feel is a big waste here. They did get a little bit of damage done to the keep wall from this, but they escaped, so well worth it. HA2 using this is really painful. If they lose 1 or 2 and he's alive later, he's going to wish he had this Molten Core to help protect the keeps.
It's not the worst thing with that talent. The cooldown is a lot, so much reduced, so they just have to stall some more time as they already hit 20 macros, about the same. Just having this Dehaka on top seemed to be the problem, but now it's not really too much as Raven was already caught up to level 20.
See a really aggressive rotation up to deal with Dehaka specifically, as you mentioned this. Sniper just walks away casually right now and does have the protection of this fort. We'll see if Miracle wants to collapse onto this. They did take the Siege Giant camp, so that's going to continue to pressure the bot lane. Still a ways away from that keep.
I like this. It's as if they heard me saying this. They're fully committing to everything they do. They're moving all in together, not really separating at all.
Yeah. Well, this comp is so absolutely necessary for that to be the way. DeYoung does get the root here onto Dami.
Look at those damage coming out too.
I know, look at that. That's like, he has 3rd win, luckily for him though, so he should be able to heal that up pretty quickly. Does have Avatar, he's going to pop it right now. They're looking for Honkono. Sanctification used here, but Crazy moving, not really attacking that location, looking for the kill onto Hamlin. Honkono continuing to zone to stop the retreat right now for Raven. Sound barrier coming up here. Hamlin and DeYoung so low. The Horrify comes out, it's a little bit too late. Big swing here. Anti-Fear smash from HA2, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Honkono will actually die here to the trait expiration of Tyrael. HA2 is going to get knocked out of the Molten Core. 3 down already here for Raven. This may finally be game, and a super late team fight for Miracle. Darvish is actually going to be the one to kill Joju.
He's on to the chase at the very end, but the rest of the team is already on the keep and soon will be on the core, and this will be a game over game series going to MVP Miracle.
Yep, it's actually been a pretty competitive fight with the supports down there, but the core is the more important thing to watch here as Joju's now out of mana. And that is going to be the 3-0 win for MVP Miracle. A tough-fought game here in game number 3. Well, their team fights there at the end, finally working out. And Hong Kono having really good zoning to prevent that retreat. And obviously, the big power spike coming in for Crazy Moving on Nazebo. We got a little bit hyped about it there at the end, but you could just see how much damage he was able to do to the tanks in the front line, making it a real big risk to actually commit there. You can tell Crazy Moving's not too happy with that performance, as